Let's talk about it. Falcons fans, a warning. I'm heated. This was the most laughable, embarrassing performance you could have had this entire season. This is worse than the Carolina Panthers game. It was awful from start to finish. There's no fight. There's no heart. There's no urgency. You know what you got today? A dud. A dud from every player on that team, not named D. Alford and not named Caden Ellis. Those are the only two that actually showed some fight. Everybody else might as well have taken the day off. And believe me when I tell you this, I do not sit here for a second and blame Kirk Cousins. I don't sit here for a second and blame Michael Penix Jr. I don't sit here for a second and blame Bijan or any lack of offensive weapon that we had on the field today. You know who I blame? Two dudes, both of which should be working at Burger King. Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris. What did Bob Barker say in Happy Gilmore? There is no way you're as bad at hockey as you are at golf. That's how I feel about Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris. You should be working at the snack bar. So let's talk about what we saw today, because from an individual perspective, there's not much to take away from the game. It just sucked all the way through. Every single bit of it was god awful. Total yards, you got slaughtered in. You had only 11 first downs. 2 of 11 on third down. You had 8 penalties. Dominated in the time of possession. You name the statistical category, they clowned you. This is one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Dolphins I'm talking about, but just as easily could put that up against the Atlanta Falcons. But you know what? I could excuse the loss today if you had played well. And if, Tua just had a great game, or Jalen Waddle had a career day, or Devon Achane absolutely slaughtered you on the ground, I could absolutely understand the loss. What I can't understand is the absolute no-show against another piss-poor team. Do you honestly think going into next week the Miami Dolphins are going to be a contender to win? You're fooling yourself. This is a clown show operation, and it starts with Raheem and Zach. I don't know how you justify having a job after this. I don't know how Arthur Blank or Terry Fontenot didn't come down and say, while we're setting up the microphones, you can take a hike. You're both chuds, dude. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. You know what the biggest red flag was? To me, after the Bills win, I saw the locker room after the Bills win. And it wasn't even remotely what you would think a winning locker room looked like. It was almost like a conference room. It was like, look at me, I'm like the disappearing moose now. But you know what? That's what the Falcons team looked like today. Non-existent. Non-existent. If you hit that subscribe button, I promise you, I'm going to make sure that I take care of every single last bit of Falcons news and rumors, including the firing of Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson when it happens. And the first one that needs to go is that absolute clown, Zach Robinson, who, look, what is your offense? What is your offense? You can't say it's Bijan anymore. You take him out of the game all the time. 3rd and 1 today. Driving, take Bijan out. Back in the pistol. Everybody and their mother knows it's going to be a run to Algier. And, of course, the Miami Dolphins, because they're not brain dead, stop the play. This is embarrassing. This is utterly embarrassing. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't even know if Oklahoma State wants you after this. They don't even have a coach right now. They've got an interim, and I'm sure they're looking at this going, whew, I don't want any part of Zach Robinson. You're a buffoon. You got defensive at the line of scrimmage, or excuse me, at the microphone. You got defensive with the reporters when they asked you about your offense. And you, and I quote, said, I don't know what you guys are complaining about. It's the same thing every single week. Yeah, that's the problem, doofus. That's the problem. And trust me, I want to say a lot meaner things, but I was just told by my lead producer and producer Reed on the ones and twos and my bosses that I can't say too many F-bombs on this one because I don't want to get demonetized. But just know that every bad thing that I could say about these two, I totally am. They stink. They stink. Raheem Morris, it's ultimately on you. You show no fight. You show no scheme. You show no understanding of how to get better week to week. None whatsoever. It is ultimately a complete and utter collapse and meltdown and catastrophe on your end. You don't deserve this job. Period. Which is why the ultimate answer in this next question that I'm going to ask you is, should the Falcons fire Raheem and Zach? Yes! Today, tomorrow. Do it. They stink. We'll go live. Promise. Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, before I continue on with this absolute charade of a game, I'm going to tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, and one of the worst of the week was choosing to watch the Falcons play. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. Did you know that you can follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app, copy their lineup in just one click, whether it is a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like? Hit that follow button and check out every lineup they create in the brand new feed tab over on Prize Picks. How do you play? Very simple. You pick your player, you pick the more or the less, and then boom, you watch your money multiply up to 2,000 times your cash this football season on Prize Picks. All you got to do is download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's going to be right. So let's talk about the guys that actually gave a shit today. Caden Ellis was one of them. He was outstanding. Tipped the ball up right in the hands of J.D. Bertrand, who we'll touch on in just a second, believe me. I thought Caden Ellis was awesome. I also thought D. Alford was great. Ever since he came in for Billy Bowman, he's been awesome. And I know there's going to be a lot of Falcons fans that get down in there and goes, Moose, we're so injury-riddled, you can't say that this is on the coaching staff. This is on the injuries. Are you insane? Like, if you watched that game and you thought the injuries were the problem, you're fooling yourself. D. Alford, you were awesome. Caden Ellis, you were awesome. Yeah, I mean, even Bijan had a bad game. What's up? Yeah. Nobody else had a good game. Kyle Pitts had a good start. Kirk, I can't blame Kirk. He's a backup at this point. He looks like he's 55 years old. Bro can't move. He's got stone feet. He's less mobile than Michael Penix Jr. I didn't know how that was possible. Bijan, he played bad today. It was his worst game of the entire year. The fumble didn't help him at all. But he looks out of it too. And that's why I will tell you, it is not a player problem. It can't be. Because when you see the talent that Bijan has, when you see the talent of guys like Drake London, when you see Kyle Pitts finding his way open throughout the entirety of the game, multiple times finding open creases, getting hit on passes and not getting hit on passes, you can clearly tell the players have quit on the team. But not because they're quitting on their teammates. They're quitting on the coaches. It is all on the coaches. That's what today is. It is a coaching catastrophe. It is a coaching meltdown. You should be ashamed of yourself, Zach Robinson. You should be ashamed of yourself, Raheem Morris. The only coach that still actually has any damn heart on this team is Jeff Ulbrich. And even he today wasn't great. But how could you when your offense looks like that? It's like a diarrhea fire. It's whatever. It is whatever. I said earlier this week that the Falcons should be buyers at the trade deadline. I'm not even so sure I believe that now. I'm not so sure. But here's what I do know. Something's got to change. And it starts with the staff. It starts with the staff because I cannot listen to another press conference from Raheem Morris saying, we came out flat. We got to be better. We got to execute. Got to be better from start to finish. It starts with us. Yeah, no shit. But how are you going to do it? How are you going to change that? How are you going to get better? Because I can't watch this anymore. It sucks. You suck. The product sucks. Everything sucks. You are the embodiment of suck. The holy trinity of suck. The dynamic duo. Name it. You are it. You guys are brutal. I'll have more to talk about tomorrow. Probably nothing good. It was terrible. Make sure you give me a follow on X, by the way. If you want more Falcons content, if you want more Falcons updates, news, rumors, if you want to see Raheem Morris get fired, I'll make a tweet about it when it happens. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Excuse me. Like today's video. And as always, be cool.